Hey there, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Madison and I make videos about ministry, motherhood, and marriage. Today I want to share with you guys basically just like a first trimester pregnancy update. I am currently about 14 weeks pregnant, just past 14 weeks, so I'm out of my first trimester. I'm like right at the very beginning of my second, and just kind of wanted to film how I'm feeling, what I'm craving, all the things that come with being pregnant and getting through your first trimester. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, as well as hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Okay, so I have some notes here with me because pregnancy brain means that I forget a lot, except honestly, I forget a lot normally, so this is not really new for me. I just wanted to start off this video by sharing with you guys how grateful I am for how many of you have watched and liked and just supported my live pregnancy test video, as well as all of my other videos. But that video is just doing so well and so quickly. It got over 1,000 views in the first week that I posted it, which was just a couple of weeks ago. So thank you so much for watching that video, and I really hope you enjoyed this one as well. In the live pregnancy test video that I shared with you guys, I talked about how I was having some early pregnancy symptoms, and for me those were the same every time I've been pregnant before, and that is that I get really dizzy and lightheaded. My sense of smell gets like really strong. It's still really strong. It's not just from like nausea or something. Like it's what makes me really nauseous, but it has been really strong from the very beginning. So being able to have like this hyper sense of smell, that is always a trigger for me, for like a symptom to me of pregnancy. And I'm not sure if you can see it on here, I'm wearing a little bit of makeup, but I have been getting so many breakouts, guys. I don't think I had this when I was pregnant with Saoirse. I feel like my skin was glowing and healthy and just lovely, but this time I've just been getting so much hormonal acne through like my chin and jaw and cheek area, which is not somewhere that I normally break out. And at first I thought that maybe it was from me, like, having a little bit of dairy one day, or, something that I ate that just kind of inflamed my skin. But I actually just went to a dermatologist and she was like, yep, that's just hormonal acne. That's super common when you're pregnant. We see it all the time. So I'm like, okay, well, that's a bummer. Trying to just like keep my skin really clean and clear, not really wear makeup very much at all right now, and just, keep it nice and healthy and vibrant and moisturized. So the acne is definitely a downside. I did have a lot of nausea in my first trimester. I got sick a few times, but it wasn't really that bad. I did also lose about 6 to 7 pounds in my first trimester. I just had no appetite and was losing weight, which is actually pretty normal. I've gained back like 4 of those pounds, so it's right around that middle area. I'm not really worried about it at all, but I definitely lost my appetite, and it was really hard to just keep things down or really want to eat anything when I felt just so grossed out by everything. We normally use cloth diapers with my daughter Saoirse. We use Bum Genius and Over the Moon. We use the all-in-one diapers, the cloth ones, and love it, and I'm really enjoying that. But the smell of even just washing her cloth diapers was so overwhelming to me that we decided to switch to disposables for about 2 months. We had a bunch left over from when she visited my parents and they used disposables with her. They usually do that when they're watching her, which is totally fine. So we had a bunch of extras just from like a big Costco run that they did, and we still have extras from that. So we really didn't do it for very long, but it was really nice to just kind of take a break from the reusable cloth diapers for a little while when my nausea was so strong. So far, I've had 2 doctor's appointments, and I'm currently 14 weeks. I have another one, I think in like a week and a half or 2 weeks. My first appointment, I was about 6.5 weeks along, and we were able to hear the heartbeat. It was really spectacular. I feel like I was definitely holding my breath and not really, letting it sink in, not really kind of believing this is even happening yet, and feeling like I was waiting for that heartbeat to just feel like that confirmation and that, you know, relief that comes over you with your first time, your first ultrasound. And so there was just a tiny little kidney bean, you know, in there, super small, but she was able to detect a heartbeat, which was amazing and just definitely put our hearts at ease. It was really funny, actually. She kind of like scared us a little bit because at one point, you know, when they're really, really early on, you can typically see you know, the fetus, and then you can also see like the yolk sac. So it almost looks like there's two babies in your uterus, but there wasn't. So at one point during my ultrasound, she said, yep, this is great. I'm detecting 2 heartbeats. And Joey and I looked at each other and we're like, as in mine and the baby, right? And she was like, oh yeah, sorry, just yours and the baby, just one baby. And we were like, oh, okay, like, all right, you know, starting to fan ourselves a little bit, like, just, we had to be clear because it looks like there's 2 and you said 2, and so it kind of gave us a moment of panic there. But so far what we know is that we're just having 1 baby and they're doing really well. My next appointment was right at the end of 12 weeks, and it was actually with a different midwife. I'm still trying to figure out which group of midwives I want to go with, because in my last pregnancy I went with an OB and like a group of different OBs, and it just wasn't the best experience for me. I'm really hoping to go with a midwife and just have a very different birth experience. If I can do a natural birth, I would love to do that. I believe that I can do that. I just have a lot of fears and things like that from my last birth, and so really am desiring and praying to have a very different birth experience this time with our second child than I did with Saoirse, and hopefully go with a midwife. So I'm really just kind of trying to feel that out and figure out, you know, what group feels right for me. So we'll see who I end up with, but my second appointment at 12 weeks was with a different midwife. She seemed really great. We might end up going with her and her group. And we got to hear the heartbeat again, which was a huge relief. Again, just kind of right at that end of my first trimester, getting to hear their heartbeat was huge. And then I think we'll get to hear it again in a couple of weeks when I go in for my next appointment, and then our next ultrasound will be at 20 weeks. And it's funny because that's just a very different, you know, thing than I had with Saoirse, because she had something called velamentous cord insertion, or they thought she did. So I think I had like 10 ultrasounds with Saoirse, and it was nice because I got to see her so often, even when she was in my belly, but kind of realizing that, oh, I think most women just get like 2 or maybe 3, that's actually what's normal. It's a little bit disappointing to me. I'm like, oh, I really want to see her all the time, or him all the time, and I'm just not going to get to have as many ultrasounds, which is good because they don't see anything concerning so far. I was getting really apprehensive for that 12-week appointment because that week or so before that appointment, I just noticed my fatigue and my nausea starting to decrease. And, you know, one of the kind of concerning symptoms in pregnancy early on is when your pregnancy symptoms start decreasing. And so I just started getting really nervous and even called and was like, should I go in earlier? Like, I don't know what to do. And I've had light cramping through my whole pregnancy so far. So just all the old fears of possible miscarriage again really came washing over me. They were really reassuring, and I just got to go in and, you know, hear the heartbeat and get that relief and feel that confirmation that, okay, everything is still going okay and I'm still feeling great, no bleeding, no major cramping. I've just needed to rest and drink a lot more water is what I've learned. It's really hard to just have a mindset kind of around being pregnant when you already have a child, I'm seeing. I don't know how moms do it who have multiple kids, just like continue to really take great care of themselves. I think for me, realizing that this is another one of my kids and I'm taking care of them by taking care of myself right now. This is how I take care of this baby, is by taking care of myself. So I'm really trying to focus on doing that more, resting when I can, drinking enough water, eating really healthy meals with great protein content, taking great vitamins, things like that are all just ways that I'm trying to really take care of myself and take care of this baby and also take care of my toddler. Another way that I'm trying to kind of prepare my body for labor, as well as just take care of my body right now, is just by exercising when I can. Barre3 has a really great intentional set of prenatal video collections of workouts for when you are in your first trimester, second trimester, and third trimester. And then they also have a great postpartum workout series that I really enjoyed after giving birth to Saoirse. I just can't recommend those enough. They're low intensity, but really great strengthening and very body positive, as well as just centered around what is really best for you and your body in the moment. It's just very focused on building strength and preparing you for birth, as well as being sensitive to the fact that you might already have toddlers running around while you're exercising right now. And you know, your body is increasing rapidly the amount of blood that it has, so your heart rate, you know, goes up quicker. And so anyways, I just highly recommend that if you're pregnant or postpartum. I've really enjoyed those Barre3 workout videos, and that's a great way that I'm trying to take care of myself now, as well as prepare myself for labor and delivery. I don't feel like I've had any crazy cravings. One day I definitely thought I was craving pickles and bought a jar of them. I have not opened them at all. I look at them and I'm like, I don't like pickles. I don't want to eat those. Why did that sound good to me in the moment? So I bought them, never ate them. The one thing that I'm really craving every single day though, ever since we went to this restaurant in Bend, is a fried chicken sandwich. Like a really good saucy fried chicken sandwich. I don't know why, but my body is just craving that. I think it's maybe the protein. I remember craving burgers when I was pregnant with Saoirse a lot from this specific place in Sisters, which is this really small town outside of Bend. I remember craving burgers a lot with her, and I guess this time it's fried chicken sandwiches for some reason. I've tried Chick-fil-A, it just doesn't quite satisfy, so I think we're gonna have to go there and get some chicken burgers soon. It's kind of weird for me because normally I have such a sweet tooth. I always crave sweet things. I love, you know, baked goods, and I love sour candy, but I feel like in this pregnancy I'm craving a lot of salty things and a lot of like fried things, which I'm really trying to stay away from. I'm not really like going out and getting those kinds of things very often or anything, but it's just a funny difference for me. I don't normally crave salt a lot. At this point, I mean, yeah, when you're pregnant, you have to pee all the time. I have to pee like 3 times at least before I go to bed at night, or else I'll be up 4 or 5 times throughout the night, and I'm usually up a couple of times anyways, and then immediately in the morning and throughout the day. So, you know, that's just kind of one of those inconvenience things, but happens because baby is growing. I think the thing that I'm feeling the most intimidated by in this pregnancy is just the transition from 1 to 2 kids. I don't know if anything is as hard as no kids to 1 kid. Like, that is such a big transition. It was for us. It's such a big shift of your life and your schedule, your time, like your money, everything. It's just, you know, you go from sleeping whenever you want, taking a nap whenever you want when you're pregnant the first time, to, you know, suddenly your time is not your own when you become a parent at all. So I think the idea of that transition being amazing, but also really hard for, I think, both of us. The idea of going back to that, and then also having a toddler who I love and want to take great care of and give great attention to, that's really intimidating for me. I need a lot of advice and a lot of prayer. I want to have a big family, so I'm excited about that transition, but I think that having kids really reveals your selfishness and how much, you know, your life is just revolved around you. Marriage definitely reveals selfishness, and then having kids reveals it so much more than you really can ever imagine. So I think the idea of just sort of preparing for that reveal again of, okay, like I have less time for myself now than I did before I had kids, and I'm going to have even less time when I add another kid to our family. So it's a great thing, it's a blessing, but it also means repentance on my part, and it also means just having more discipline and really growing in my intentionality of how I spend my time. I'd really like to join the 5 a.m. club. I do really enjoy being up early, but the idea of like really forcing myself to get up that early on a consistent basis is really hard for me, but I think I need to do it especially over these next few months before this baby is born, get into that habit and just enjoy good quality time with God before Saoirse wakes up. I'd love to start doing that. So maybe I'll vlog that and do like a habit building vlog, waking up at 5 a.m. or something like that. So if you'd like to see a video about that, let me know in a comment down below. Maybe that'll give me a little inspiration to actually make it happen. Having that discipline for me is so important, of really spending my time wisely, because we don't have family close by. I don't have someone that I can just, you know, drop the kids off with when I need an hour to myself. Like, my husband works full time, I work part-time for a church, and I love doing that. It's a lot of work doing that with Saoirse and us, you know, kind of passing her back and forth at different times for different appointments. I wouldn't change it anything, but it's hard to not have family close by to just sort of drop kids off with when I need to, or at least that's what I imagine that might be like. My parents live about 3 hours away and they come over and visit. I wish that we had people closer that we could do that with. Because we don't do daycare or childcare or anything like that really at all. Sometimes we'll have a friend watch Saoirse for us for an evening or for an hour or something, but it's not a common occurrence for us. So I really like to take my kids with me wherever I go. So I can sometimes wish that, man, once we get to 2 kids, I wish we had family close by that I could, you know, drop them off with for an hour or just get help with for an hour. And we just don't really have that right now. Maybe someday we will, but with COVID and with so many other factors right now, it's just not my life right now. So I think it's going to require me to be very, very intentional and disciplined with how I spend my time every day. I'll show you guys my belly in just a second. I really don't show like my full skin belly when I'm pregnant. It's not that I think it's like wrong or sinful or anything like that. It's just a modesty choice that I personally don't really feel comfortable doing. So I'll show you my belly from the outside of the like high-waisted pants that I'm wearing in a second. I do feel like my belly popped right around like 12 or 13 weeks. I felt like I wasn't really showing it all, and I'm not showing a ton right now, but just a little bit. I officially moved pretty much all of my pre-pregnancy clothes out of my closet, and I'm in full maternity clothes season now. I unloaded and washed and organized and decluttered and hung them all up, so I'm pretty much in all maternity clothes and jeans except for just a few shirts and jeans and items like that that kind of have that, you know, space to give for me right now, because I am showing a bit, but not so much that I can't wear anything anymore. For you mamas out there, I also just want to really recommend taking advantage of Facebook Marketplace. It is somewhere that I have found so many free items for myself and for my kids. I think moms are just really generous with what we have, and we know that it's expensive to get brand new things every time, especially maternity clothes. It's really hard to find maternity clothes in Central Oregon, or I don't know, just anywhere at all. You kind of have to order them online, and so I've just gotten like great maternity clothes for free or for next to nothing from women on Facebook Marketplace, as well as kids clothes and things like that. So if you're on a budget like I am, and you need some maternity clothes or you need some baby clothes, I'd really encourage you to either check out Marketplace, join some Facebook mom groups, or see if there's like a pregnancy resource center near you. I've also picked up tons of little like baby boy clothes because we don't know what the gender is of this baby, and I don't want to spend a ton of money on boy clothes if we end up having a girl. So we'll see what we end up having, but I have a few things on hand that I have pretty much gotten all for free or from yard sales, honestly, because like I said, I am on a tight budget. I only work part-time. We're in a pretty strict budget, so maybe I should share that with you guys sometimes, like how I manage our finances. I do manage our finances for our home, so how we do that with, you know, the income level that we're at, and how we take care of things and keep a clean, tidy home and keep our children well dressed and ourselves on a very strict budget. So again, let me know in a comment down below if that's a video that you would like to see. I really want to make great content for you guys that you are interested in and serves you. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing, or the 5 a.m. vlogging time, or something else. Please always feel free to DM me on Instagram or let me know in a comment what kind of videos you'd like to see. So let's go ahead and do the belly shot while we're at it. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my first trimester in my pregnancy with baby number 2. I pray over my daughter's physical and spiritual growth every single day, as well as this baby. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below, and I will see you next week.